In this Instructable, I'm going to be showing you how to do a dual print of a Terminator head that has an embedded electrical circuit in it, which you can clearly see in this micro CT scan. And the material for the circuit is electrified conductive filament. You can find a complete list of everything that you're going to need to do this Instructable in the text, most of which are shown here. So for this model, I made 3 different files. One was the main base portion of the Terminator head that had a cavity cut out of the inside of it to house the battery pack, and also it had channels cut out to occupy the electrical circuit. Second file is just a cap that is going to be used as an access panel into the battery compartment. Third file is the electrical circuit itself, nothing else except for the conductive bits. I've included various file formats, STLs, AMFs, for all these models, but the easiest way by far is using a simplified 3D factory file that I've included that has everything already compiled in it with print settings included. So go ahead and open up that factory file, and you'll see all the models load onto the build platform. On the right here you will see the cap model. It's going to be printed out of black PLA, process 1. And on the left you'll see the main base portion of the head, also printed out of black PLA. And as a separate process, different material, you see the electrical circuit here. It's going to be printed out of the Electrifi'ed. Also, you will see the prime tower, custom prime tower that I made that has an electrified core and a PLA shell. The PLA shell just provides a little extra structural support. The last thing you want to do is check your starting script. There's an M302 G-code command that you have to include. I'm printing electrified filament at 150 degrees Celsius, which is lower than most firmwares will allow you to print. It starts to assume that there's a problem with your heater and will not allow the extruder to turn below a certain temperature. The M302 command will override this safety feature and allow you to extrude at any temperature. I'm running RepRap firmware. This is the proper syntax for that firmware, M302P1. If you are running Marlin firmware, for instance, it would be slightly different. It would be M302S0. So double check your firmware and check the correct syntax that you'll need to use for the M302 commands. And you also want to go to process 2 as well and make corrections if necessary to the syntax of that M302 command. Alright, now let's go ahead and prepare our prints. Hit select all to select both the black PLA and the Electrifi'ed processes. Click OK, and now we have to wait a few seconds for the slicing software to finish slicing the model. And when that finishes slicing, you'll be able to see the results. The blue is going to be printed with tool 0. That's where you want to have your black PLA filament loaded into your first nozzle. And the green is tool 1, which is where you need to load your Electrifi'ed filament. Okay, so now we can go ahead and save our G-code file to our SD card and upload it to our 3D printer. Now I highly recommend switching out your hot ends for D-Glass 3D's AutoLift all-metal hot ends when printing these embedded electrical circuits. Their mechanical retraction technology eliminates any headaches that you may experience with cross-contamination when printing 2-material prints. And if you're printing an electrical circuit and you have cross-contamination issues, it's going to lead to shorts. Okay, so after you finish printing your model, it should look like this. So now we can go ahead and begin assembling everything. You'll find 2 holes in the back side of your model where you can insert the bolts that are going to go into your screw terminals. So go ahead and insert those bolts and then fasten your JST connectors with your nuts and washers in the orientation shown here, with the red wire on the left and the black on the right. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to putting in the LEDs. A solder reflow station is really handy for this. A hairdryer will work in a pinch, but a solder reflow station is much easier to control. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and heat up the Electrifi'ed contacts. Just hold it close to the contacts for about 10 seconds or so. And then you can use a pair of tweezers to press the LEDs into the Electrify. So after you finish doing that to both eyes, it should look like this. Make sure that you put the diagonal slots that are cut out of the corners of the LEDs facing inwards towards the nose. And you want to go ahead and wait for it to cool down, give it 5 to 10 minutes. And then you can go ahead and connect your battery. Then check to make sure your LEDs both light up. If they don't light up, you may need to heat it up a little bit and then press a little harder. Maybe you didn't make a very good contact with the Electrify. Or you may have put the LEDs on backwards, so you might want to just reheat the area a little bit and carefully pull off the LED, switch it around, and then repeat the process. And that's it. So congratulations, we just made the Terminator with the embedded electrical circuit, 3D printed with Electrify filament. Stick it on the mantle, wherever you like, impress your friends.